Alright, so currently the two of you are standing in the tide fin. You've explained the situation to Boff and Holg, and everybody seems to be on the same page of, well, Boff wants his compass. Holg is going to go with the guy that's paying him. And the two of you want to find Burnley. So as this whole little endeavor to determine what this bracer that Pedwin is kind of forced into wearing is, where Steve-O's, or Big Mo's arm is getting a little bit tired now because he's got basically two gnomes hanging from it. But he's continuing to stoically hold out his arm.
I will prevail.
Make a strength check. The Pedwin, you can feel the arm starting to slowly shake a little bit under the stress of having to hold two gnomes up. But Boff quickly jumps down. And then and Big Mo just opens up his hand and drops Pedwin. Is there anything the two of you want to do?
So
I kind of want to.
Who seems to be planning this heist?
There currently is no plan. The only thing that's happened is you guys have thought, hey, let's go get our stuff.
Hey, let's go get our stuff.
Yep, we're just gonna need this one. And you see Boff, who has taken his wooden staff, and he thumps it once on the ground, and it changes into a kind of rounded, almost like polished brass. It's like a very, very high luster metal. And instead of the kind of curled, gnarled end of the wooden stick that held the green gem, it's now a round ring that the gem is kind of held by radial spikes, and they're just holding the gem in place. And there's a small tip on it that continues past the circular holding of the circular point that's holding the gem. And then Boff points his staff directly at Aya's face and then begins to just kind of poke very lightly and then withdraw and then slowly move in and then poke a little harder and then withdraw. And he kind of jumps back every time he does it and then steps forward and then pokes a little harder, like right in the face, like directly into her face. And you see her slowly start to go from her kind of trance where she's not looking at the book that she's writing in. She's just she's occasionally making a few very rapid marks with her fingertips and then sometimes waving her hand over top of the book. And she's just staring off into nothing.
Can I tell what she's doing?
Make a perception check. The very few words that she is muttering below her breath seem to imply some kind of incantation or like something of a magical essence. And that book that she's holding, every so often a page will just flip on its own. And then Aya will go right back to more kind of scrawling with her fingertips or kind of scanning over top of the pages with her palm and fingers outstretched. And so she seems to be doing some kind of incantation, but like the nature of it, you're not able to discern at the moment.
Okay. I'm gonna rock back and forth on my heels, just standing there awkwardly.
And with that, Aya all of a sudden recoils and, Buff, come on. And she bats the staff out of the way. And he's like, you're taking too long. And he kind of brings her up to speed on the fact that they know that Burnley is in the city and that they want to, or that everybody wants to go and get some of the things from Burnley. She looks around and says, well, shall we then? And all of you then leave the Tide Fin. But before you go, like, Boff kind of waves you all out, and he's the last one in there. And you see him move over to the... Oh, actually, you know what? Because you're in the Tide Fin. Might as well move you over to the Tide Fin. Okay, so as you're in the Tide Fin, you're all kind of being ushered up the stairs. You see Boff as he moves over to the central dais, and he puts his hand down on the stone, and the stone surface seems to ripple and then disappear, and it's a pool of water beneath that. And out of the pool of water, you see a singular fish poke its head up and look around, and then disappear back under the water. And you see Boff, he's got like this nice... His face almost lights up when he sees this fish. And he reaches into his pouch and then drops a few bits of food and something to eat, and a little bit of like herbs and things like that he's prepared for exactly this purpose. And you hear a quick, there you go, buddy, to tide you over. And he kind of like, he puts a big grin on his own face as he's kind of chuckling at his own joke, and then extends his hand and mutters another incantation, and the stone surface it reemerges with a shimmer, and it is once again a hard stone surface. Okay, let's go! And everybody piles out of the Tide Fin.
Onward and forward.
Okay, so
fed the Tide Fin. Is that what happened? Fed the Tide Fin.
Previously you remember him referring to, like, kind of almost speaking to that platform and saying Tink. So you can gather that he just fed Tink.
Oh, okay.
So, all three of you, Aya, who, while she was in the Tide Fin, she was the appearance that you've come to understand is her regular appearance, that kind of red tiefling with the rust-colored hair and the I'm pretty sure they have cloven feet. I think so. Don't actually know now. Anyway, but as you look back at her as she's emerged from the ship, she has once again resumed that kind of red-headed normal human disguise, if you will, that she wears.
I'm gonna say, we lost some heading towards the super fancy district.
At this point, Holg speaks up. Yeah, last time I tried to get in there was some guards that stopped me. How are we going to get past them?
You can fling poo at them.
What?
You can fling poo at them.
Oh, no, I heard you just fine. But what the fuck, mate?
Horse dung.
Never mind.
Works.
You. So it's currently standing outside the tide fin. Just on the shore is Big Mo, Pedwin, Holg, and Aya, and you can hear Boff speaking to something, and just because he's being quite loud because he's kind of yelling back into the ship. Take care of it. Don't let anything happen to it, or you're gonna pay. And you don't hear any reaction. And then he shuts the door and kind of jumps and then slides off the exterior of the ship, which, it does look like an enormous fish. It's just made of wood. But it's even like slick with, like you would expect the outside of a fish to be, with like a very thin layer of almost like a translucent slime.
Hey.
And he just slides down the side of his ship and lands with a thump on the dock and starts walking back with his reshaped staff in hand as he kind of moves over to everybody. So, ready to go?
Yep.
It's at this time that you hear a familiar voice call out from the deck of the Weaver. And you look up and you see Captain Dunwood, and he's waving. And you can see him kind of beckon with his arm to kind of call you over. And he calls out to you. He's like, sorry to do this so soon after our reunion, but perhaps you could give me a hand? And as the group of you gets a little closer, you see that currently one of his crewmates is arguing with someone in a uniform of, well, yeah, it's one of the city guard and just kind of a relatively well-dressed man with kind of like a clipboard and a quill, and he's trying to explain something to this crewman, and the two of them are just arguing back and forth.
A little busy right now. Maybe later.
All right, are you guys just going to take off then?
Yep.
Okay.
So what was Burnley wearing last time we saw him?
His red robes.
Yeah, he was wearing the same thing that he's worn pretty much every time you've seen him. Just his usual red robes.
Did he get one of those bracelet things like I did?
You saw a bracelet on his wrist in the cells, and it matches the one that looks like yours.
That's what I want to locate object on.
Okay. So you cast locate object. Can you do the casting of the spell? I want to see how it's worded.
Spells. Level 2.
How many level 2 spells can you cast?
2. This is my second one.
Ah. Describe a name or an object that is familiar to you. Sense a direction in 1,000 feet. Okay. So you perform the locate object spell. I don't know if you want to go into a handstand for this or not.
Just a quick twirl.
Just jump in the air and twirl around?
Quick jump in the air and twirl.
Alright, so Big Mo, you see Pedwin take kind of like a hop and a skip, and then he jumps into the air and twirls around. And he does this, he's like posing in midair, and this like arcane flash comes off of him for a moment. It's like bright, bright pink. And it just radiates out from him for a moment. And that's all you see, but as far as Pedwin's concerned, his is now getting increasingly familiar with this. His kind of awareness expands out, and he can acutely feel the object that is attached to his wrist, more than just feeling it on his body. He's aware of its existence as his awareness gets larger and larger and larger. And what you feel is you feel two other occurrences of this object. You feel one that is near to the courthouse that you were at before, but it's kind of indistinct and a little bit fuzzy. You can't pinpoint exactly where it is, but it's relatively close to the court. And then you feel another occurrence of that in the area of town that you're familiar with. That was the orb holder's house.
Okay. That way. Charge!
We should walk this time so we don't lose everyone.
Briskly walk.
Alright, so everyone briskly walks.
Actually, I'll just stay with the group.
Well, I was going to move the group. You can move your own person if you really want to.
I'll stay with the group and let the...
Okay, so the group walks. Look at them walk. Oh, they're walking. Ooh, give me a second here. Okay, so Pedwin. I would like you to roll a d8 and a d12, please.
Okay.
Wait, did that... Okay, so 7. Okay, so you break into this clearing, which again, there's different banners in this area, and you hear a small commotion that's occurring in the center of the plaza. And as you look over there, there are 3 individuals that are standing on top of, standing on top of wooden posts, and they're on one foot, and across their back is a bar, like a wooden bar, and hanging from the bar are buckets. And the 3 of them are standing there, and they're facing each other, and they're kind of wobbling and wavering slightly. And the whole crowd is cheering them on, and you can see people with ale, even though it's only like 3 or 4 in the afternoon at this point, and just lots of general commotion, people cheering and calling out, and you can see that one person kind of loses their footing for a moment and then regains it, and a different one you see him just collapse and fall from the post, and then eventually just land with a thud into like the kind of bundles of hay that have been putting around these posts as like to kind of catch individuals when they fall. And as he does, like a whole bunch of people just and they all cheer, and a couple of people, you see them stamp the ground in frustration, and they hand over small pouches of coins to other individuals. And you guys are going to continue on your way?
Yep.
Or are you going to stop and investigate, or what?
I mean, a bunch of drunk people. Let them be drunk.
Alrighty. So you guys continue. Where did you guys want to, how did you want to approach this?
Approach what?
Well,
we can go in the same way we did before.
So you're going to go around the far side of the coast?
Why not?
Okay. So the group of you go around, you walk past this little competition, whatever it is. And once again, you are greeted by the sight of two guards. And they raise their hand up to stop you. And what are you guys going to do?
We have a meeting with the orb holder. No.
No.
I'm joking.
Yeah, you lying is not gonna work with your.
Make a deception check.
No.
No, I'm not actually saying that.
Oh boy.
Alright, so what are you guys doing then? You are currently face to face with some guards. And they say that the austere plateau is off limits to the general public.
I'll say... I don't know a good way to word this. Wait, it's not the orb holder's house we're going to, right? It's some other dude.
You are chasing the locate object, and that locate object has generally indicated the area of the orb holder's house.
I'm gonna say we were hoping we could pass to get to the orb holder's house.
Do you have business with the orb holder?
Not exactly.
Well, unless you've got official permission, I cannot let you into the austere plateau. It's at this point, Pedwin, that you detect
don't
that
Don't fling poo.
I'm just detected, man.
you can feel through your spell that the object you're picking up on, both of them are moving.
Where to?
And the one that you picked up near the courthouse, now that you're closer, you can feel distinctly that it is coming from this building. And the movement is within that building. And the other one, the one that you detected in this area, it is moving away from the area you first picked it up.
Let's go around.
What do you mean go around?
Go back and around.
So where do you want to go?
We want to go. Give me a circle. There. That's a rectangle.
Okay. As a note, the first time you guys tried to get to the orb holder's house, you went down that path and you encountered another pair of guards with a checkpoint just like this one.
Yeah, no, but I want to follow wherever the locate object spell may lead, and I can't exactly do that from here.
Okay. So, as you guys are walking back, you go through the plaza again, and you see that there are still two guys that are on those posts, and one of them eventually slips and topples, and the buckets of water spill, and there's another cheer from the crowd, and a sack of gold, or a sack of coins is brought out to... sorry, no, not a sack of coins. A small statuette is brought out to the victor, and he picks it up and holds it over his head and cheers, and you hear the individual that handed him that. He's like, "Our newest champion! Are there any more challengers? Or is he going to walk away with our prize for this evening?" And so you guys move around. You go back through the plaza. And Pedwin, as you're kind of circumventing this whole block of buildings, you feel that the object is getting further and further away from you. So you start to feel it kind of getting more and more distant from where you are.
Further south.
Further south.
let's continue on going. Woo, over here. Because we can't go that way, right?
Correct. Okay, so you guys go around across the plaza with the stone spire and down past the temple.
Onward and followward.
I'm gonna get this written down somewhere. Okay, so the sign you're passing for the street name here is Workman's Way. Oh no, sorry, no, this isn't Workman's Way. So as you guys are just kind of moving down past these, you notice that the area of town you're in now consists of buildings that are smaller and more tightly packed. And you can see that they are, everything here is like a minimum of 3 floors, but they're 3 fairly short floors. Steve-O, you get, or Big Mo, you get the feeling that if you were to go through some of these buildings, you wouldn't have to duck, but you'd be pretty close to the ceiling, uncomfortably close. You and Holg would have a hard time fitting. And as you move around the streets, you just pass various groups of individuals. You see small gaggles of children, and you hear they're running around playing some variation of tag. You hear an older woman admonishing them and telling them to get home before dark, or the beast will come and get them. But most of the kids are not really paying attention to that.
We'll come and get them.
All you heard was the beast will come and get them. So as you're coming up around this area, you notice the street in this area is called Workman's Way. And as you come around the corner, there is quite a large building along the side. There we go.
Which building? That one?
So you notice that very large building. That this more prominently features the stonework that you've seen in other kind of richer areas of town. And this is, a lot of these windows are also are built in with heavy iron lattice work across the windows, so that it's, I mean, you can see through them just fine, but it would be very difficult to get through it because there's almost as much iron as there is glass. And you see on the front of this building there is just there is a large symbol that emblazons kind of different stacks of coins. And they're arranged in almost like a podium kind of thing. So like the tallest stack is in the middle, and then there's a slightly shorter stack to one side, and then a smaller stack on the opposite side. You know what I mean, Vern? Anyway. So as you get here, you bump into 2 more guards.
Oh boy.
Wait, what are the guards? The guards are guarding. Oh, okay.
They're guarding
We're in a
the
different
entrance
spot than I
to-
thought we were in. Yeah.
Yeah, so like every entrance that you've come towards here, there's like a slight incline in this region of the town, this kind of nicer area of town.
That whole area, I'm guessing.
Pretty close, yes. And you heard it referred to as the Austere Plateau.
I turn to Aya and I say, got any ways of getting in here? And
She looks down. She says, "I've got a way for me to get in there. I don't know about anyone else."
Well, for now, all we need to do is track him, because I don't fighting him in the town. I don't think would be a good idea.
I agree with you there. So, what did you have in mind? How did you find him in the first place? How do you know he's here?
I'm tracking his. I hold up my wrist. The thing on his wrist.
So, as you hold up the thing on your wrist, one of the guards notices this and says, "Oh, are you here on diplomatic business? Here, let him in." And the gate is pulled aside, and the way is cleared for you.
Oh boy. Yep, that's
Okay.
me, Mr. Diplomat. Thank you very much. See you guys later. Have a good day.
And so the group of you walk into the austere plateau. And what hey, you never spoke to anyone. You didn't ask anyone anything about how to get in there.
Let's just get the fuck in there.
Okay, you guys get in there. So your spell is starting to fade out, and as you can feel it fading,
I pick up my pace.
the indications are kind of heading in this way. And once again,
start running. I want to get them in a line of sight before it runs out.
okay. So the group increases their pace, and as it's fading out, you did feel it around this area. And as the group of you rounds the corner here, again noticing the signpost with the banner of this region of the city, and in this case it is a white background, and there is a kind of golden layer, just like a horizontal bar across the bottom, and then a singular golden circle kind of floating above that. And that's the entire emblem of this area. And as you come out there, you do finally, at long last, you see Navigator Burnley, you see Orpholder Maclay, and there are 3 guards. Oh, what'd I do?
Does he have his axe?
Get over here. He does have his axe. You do notice that it is strapped to his back. And the group of them appear to be getting into a carriage. So you see Orpholder Maclay and Navigator Burnley climb into a carriage that is then shut. And the guards mount up on their horses. And you see the carriage and the riders slowly start to pull away out of the gate at the bottom.
So let's follow them out, I guess.
All right, you guys are going to follow them?
Yep.
Okay. So you reach the gate, and there are guards for Mason's Rest that are standing at this region of the gate and offer you no resistance, as they're generally probably not used to stopping people from leaving this particular area. Uh-oh. Oh, wait, there. Okay, I'm able to move it. Never mind. No worries. So the group of you leave the gate, and you see the carriage and the riders slowly starting to just pull down one of the roads, passing some of the farming communities or like the small farming settlements, and just some of the area around here that's used for agriculture. And the 5 of you are standing at the gate as these riders slowly make distance from you. Right now, I'd say they're about like 20, 25 feet from you.
Thoughts?
Uh,
NPCs?
Aya moves up to you and says, "You found him by looking for that object. Can you look for anything like that?"
Anything I've seen?
She reaches down and pulls out a dagger. It's a relatively normal looking dagger. It's got like an animal hide wrapped around it, dark handle, but the wrap around it itself is like it's like a fading kind of tan, and it's smooth on one side and it comes to a tapered point and then it's flat along the other side. She says, "Even this?"
If you plan on throwing that at the carriage, I can only track it up to 1,000 feet. So having an extra thing on him wouldn't help much.
we can always track by the battle axe also.
Yep.
Hmm. Well, I don't know if I can help you then. Give me a second. I'm going to have to look through Aya's spellbook. If you'll give me just a minute, I need to check a spell. Um, okay, no, Aya doesn't have anything that would work in this situation. Instead, she turns to you and says, "Why do you need to know where he's going so badly?"
Well, we want to get him, don't we?
And you do hear Boff pipe up with that. And he, at this point, he hasn't said anything because the first time that he set eyes on Burnley is the first time he set eyes on him in a while. And he's completely fixated on him now and like has been staring unblinkingly at him. And he's like, "Yes, I do want to get him." And at that point, you see him begin to mutter an incantation, and Pedwin,
I'm
you
gonna
recognize
slowly back up.
You recognize this incantation as specifically fire related.
Quickly back up. Busy myself with a barrel or something so it doesn't look like I'm associated with this person.
And so you see that he is going to cast this, and Aya immediately puts her hand on like over top of Boff's eyes, and Holg dives in and picks him up and claps his hand over his mouth, and the two of them are just like strong arming him as he's just struggling. He really, really wants to just fireball the shit out of this carriage. But the two of them are like, nope, high profile, not a good idea. Boff, you need to calm down. And eventually he ceases his thrashing and sets down and stares at the carriage as it's moving further away. Well, they're not going anywhere very quickly. Where are they going again? Who was the dude in the green? Who is the human in the green?
Pretty
that
sure they're
was
gonna go pick up the pieces of the stone, right?
yeah.
Or was that
They're
someone
headed
else?
back to the other village place to the southeast.
Well, we know where they'll be then.
Southwest.
Southwest. Was that place was relatively near the shore, right?
Let me bring up the island map.
Relatively.
Yes, it is relatively close to the shore. It's a short walk to the shore.
Yeah. So let's go back to the ships. Help Mr. Captain with his problem. And then we'll head down there. How's that sound? And no blowing stuff up, right?
You just look over at Boff, and his eyes are narrowed to slits, and he's clearly not very happy with having come so close to getting his compass back, and then being denied the satisfaction of hurling a fireball at the person that has wronged him.
I've seen the compass before, right?
You...
On the ship?
Yeah.
Yes, you've seen the compass on the ship.
Okay.
All right, so you guys are going to go help out Dunwood?
Yep.
Alrighty. So the group of you filter back through the town. You do notice that in this region of town, there's obviously less populace, so it's not quite as busy in this area. The individuals are kind of more well-dressed. You do see just kind of like there's an air of this is like the richer part of town. The guards are, like their armor is very highly polished, and everything in the area just has a little bit nicer aesthetic to it. Like this region of the city is probably more well taken care of than the others. You see the same kinds of races that you've seen throughout the entire city. It's just there's less of them in this area. You do also spot the occasional kind of courier or messenger moving by on a horse, or individuals that are carrying cargo, kind of chests that are mounted to carriers on posts, and they're being escorted by one or two guards that either bear the symbol of some of the other settlements, or the sides of the containers themselves bear markings that are similar to some of the regions or some of the districts of the city that you've seen before. They have the same emblems emblazoned on them. So as you return back to the coast, you brush right past the guards. Pedwin doesn't even say anything. He just sticks his arm out with the bracer and walks right by the guards.
Don't tell me what I do.
All right, what do you do then as you go past the guards?
I stick my arm out with the bracer.
He sticks his arm out with the bracer as he walks right past the guards, doesn't even say a word to them. And the group of you wind up back at the shore. The contest that was going on in the town square seems to have, for the most part, wrapped up. People are generally packing things up. But there's a few people that are arguing back and forth, saying I can do better than you, I can last longer than you can. No, you can't. I could do this drunk, and I could still beat you. Needless banter. The group of you passes by a small office, and then arrive at the dock that is nearest to the Weaver. And this time you see...
the Weaver or the Tidefin?
Well, the Weaver is the big ship that you guys are just below now, and the Tidefin is just beside that. So yeah, the Tidefin is currently here. And so you see Dunwood arguing with this official, and you can see the frustration in both of their faces.
Diplomatic business, make way, make way.
So you walk. Pedwin, are you going to walk up to talk to these people?
Yep.
All right. So you, as you walk up, you hear snippets of the conversation. I cannot permit any of your crew to make landfall without the proper consent and authorization. You were already granted safe harbor here for the purpose of repairing your ship. It is repaired. You must be on your way. And you hear Dunwood arguing back. I cannot simply leave at this point. I have unfinished business here, and thank you. Fine, please, can you talk some sense into this man? And Dunwood is kind of motioning to you, Pedwin.
What's up? What's up, dude? Mr. Duckman. What's up?
I am trying to explain to this Captain Dunwood, that he is here under the graces of the city of Mason's Rest, and he should not be pressing his luck. You have not been given the proper authorization. I will not let you or your crew disembark or bring any potentially contraband goods onto these shores.
I turn to Mr. Captain and say, what else do you need from here?
You're asking Dunwood what he wants?
Yeah.
What I need is to resupply my ship, and what's more, I cannot set sail without a sufficient amount of crew. During the night, I've had individuals that question my style of command on this ship have decided that they would rather stay here. At which point the dock worker, he pipes up and says, if you have any crewmen that have already made landfall, you need to find them and bring them back here. They are not allowed. To which Dunwood responds, I would do that, but you won't let me off my ship.
Yeah, that sounds like you got a problem there, Mr. Dockman. What you gonna do about it? Got ourselves a catch-22.
The dock worker looks to you and looks back to Dunwood and scratches his head for a moment. Very well. I will see about a temporary pass for you to acquire your lost crewman, and then you'll be on your way. And with that, he kind of and stomps off and walks not very far and into the small office that the group of you passed by just now.
I said to the captain, okay, let's go get some stuff, and then maybe find the guy. And then we'll leave. How's that sound?
That sounds good, but as I said before, I need crewmen to man my ship. As it stands now, there is but me and one other crewman.
That's not
And,
very many crewmen.
He said there's not very many.
When we left Baldur's Gate, I, along with the other crewmen, made up our crew of 4, and with our captain and navigator, we were capable of seeing to the maintenance and well-being of the ship, but with so few, I will not be able to sail for very long. And out on the open water is absolutely out of the question.
And can I turn around and discuss with the group without Captain Dunwood hearing?
Certainly you can. So the group of you just kind of step away from the ship?
Yep. Then I'll say, how about we make a deal where we're part of his crew so long as he stays around the SS Kidney, Idvin.
Yeah, well, I mean, we likely need the compass and the map to get off this island.
And if we could, come, oh man.
You know what I realized? I didn't even plan this, but I've basically constructed the first 2/3 of a Zelda dungeon just now. A compass and a map. I just need to come up with a reason for a big key.
The battle axe.
You know what? It's kind of key-shaped. I'll give it to you. So there we go.
The keyblade.
Impromptu Zelda dungeon.
So, how about we try to convince Dunley, right? No, Captain. Yeah, it's Captain Dunley, right?
Dunwood.
Dunwood.
And
Why
it's
don't
Navigator
we-
Burnley. You like slammed these two names together.
How about we convince him to help us out?
Well, I mean, we were
Hey.
generally doing the same thing anyway, so he already was kind of helping us out.
But I don't think his plans were to help us all the way through.
Well, he wants
No.
to get off this island, and we want to eventually get off this island.
Yeah, let's bring it up to him, and then
So-
we can say we'll be his crew.
Yeah. We
Yep.
So what do you guys do?
say we'll help crew.
Yep. So we'll turn around and walk close to the SS Kidney again, and say we'll gladly be his crew so long as he agrees to help us with this whole Burnley issue.
Well, we need he likely needs the map and compass to get off the damn island.
Yeah, that's true. I guess Joe brings that up too.
Okay, so you guys express your willingness to work on the ship and help him out. He lets out a sigh of relief, so you definitely see that he's somewhat allayed by this, and he sits down for a while and exhales deeply and says, "Well, I thank you for your aid, but in truth, I imagine that there is some business that will keep us on land for quite some time. And if not all of us, perhaps, even if just you are to go, then I am left without a crew again. So this will work in the interim, yes, but eventually I must find a means of replacing my lost crewmen."
Well, we'll happily stick with you until we get off this damn island. And then once we make land elsewhere, I'm sure you can find a crew.
Well, that will have to do in the meantime, and I thank you for your aid. But if you should encounter anyone among your travels that you think would make a good addition to my crew, please be sure to send them my way.
Well, I know this man by the name of Burnley.
And a great question mark pops above his head as we've gotten the quest and not fulfilled it yet.
Exactly. And you get a little pop up, and under the rewards thing, it's got just it's one of those square icons, but it's got a question mark in it, so you don't know what it is.
It's a battle axe, a compass, and something else.
Yep. Crew members.
All right. Did you guys want to keep going, or did you want to call it there for the time being?
I say we
Uh,
go out there.
Yeah, I need to go to bed. I'm getting tired.
Okay, well, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for
Yeah.
DM and
I'm excited. I think the next session is going to have some battling in it.
Well, I was wondering if I was going to find a way to incorporate battle in this, but given that the contest was the thing that got rolled, then there's no need for combat there.
Right.
So, do you guys, Alright, so was this too slow? Did you guys like the pacing on this? Was there, give me some feedback if there is any.
it was
I think once we got out of the courthouse, it was pretty good. I wasn't a fan of the whole courthouse in general. I like the jail cellar. That was a lot of fun. But I think once we got to the actual trial, it slowed down a little.
I felt like you wanted us to do stuff that pulled us away from time-sensitive stuff we were trying to do.
Well, see, unfortunately, that is kind of how it came across. It's not actually how I intended it to go.
Hmm.
I